Yes, get it. Oh shoot, we alive.
We live, baby.
Man, welcome to another episode of the Flagrant 2 with X and Lou. You already know I go by Lou. That over there, Zex. And I just wanna first I'm just gonna kick it right off. What is going on in Boston and what is going on in Brooklyn?
I mean, it's the same old. It's the same old with Brooklyn, man. They sitting here trying to dump KD, not just dump him because they could have got whatever they wanted for him.
True.
Not what they wanted, but you know what I mean. It's
Yeah.
offers out there. They could have got something by now, but they're being greedy. It's rightfully so because you got to get rid of KD, somebody who's going to give you 4 years of good basketball. You want to get something back so you can keep the product at least similar as far as winning or at least having a chance to move forward off of this and make something happen. But Brooklyn, we know you're not getting none of that, bro. We know the accent price is way too high for these teams that he want to go to and the teams y'all trying to offload him to. Y'all trying to be nice with KD, and it's like understandable because KD ain't do nothing wrong.
They just want too much. It's just too much that you ask. This is not the market to be shopping KD in. It's kind of like wanting some Balenciagas, but you could only afford some Nikes. Like that. This is the market that we're in right now, and unless they're going to be able to, I don't know, maybe give into those type of things, then I don't know. I know it's tough. It's really tough. But I think what more that you have to worry about is the fracture of a young budding star in Jaylen Brown. You may have just soured this relationship. This relationship may just be done.
A tad bit. But the thing about it is Jaylen Brown, like, yeah, you're one of the top two guys on the team. So you think, as a star on the team, one of the stars on the team who throughout the playoff showed he could be better than Jason Tatum and hold that torch down for him when Tatum's struggling.
Yep.
So it's like, you're going into the next season head high. We're going to do this over. We already pulled up some talent together where this team is looking good. And we could go ahead and make a real run for it again.
Yep.
And then the news comes out that they actually, we'll include him if we could get KD. And it's just a tough spot because it's like at the end of the day, and it's like Draymond Green said, this is KD we're talking about. KD. So it's like team is gonna look into it. Oh, what you want for him? You know what I mean? Even if it was just like, hey, they could have pulled it. So that's the one thing that's on Jalen's mind. Like, yo, they could have pulled it. But these guys are smart enough to understand that this is still a business at the end of the day. These teams are gonna listen to some offers. Like, oh, okay, you want to hear what we got? And it's like, But it's just like it sucks because it's like you said, these two are the guys.
Yeah, you never want to. You literally just made a finals run. I can understand if this was a team that you want to blow up. Like this is a team that made it to the finals. You're not going to get over the hump. All right, let's blow this up and let's see what we can do. But the thing is the market's already passed. There's not a lot of free agents left. So you're gonna trade possibly Jaylen Brown and a couple of key role players that got you to the, they want Smart. So you're talking about key guys that got them to where they was and that ultimately could get them back to where they want to be. And then you look at it from that standpoint, you're just gonna get KD. There's not gonna be much coming back because the contract's got to match up. Right? So Jaylen Brown's contract is nowhere near KD. So, you're going to have to add the other contracts. You're going to have to add the Derek Whites, the Marcus Smarts, maybe a couple of picks in there. Though everything has to make sense, of course, cap-wise. But then you look at it from another standpoint, it's like, all right, we're gonna get KD. We may get like one or two pieces from over there, or with agent contracts, or players that don't really fit into the rotation. You may even get Seth Curry, which would be good, but at the end of the day, you're looking at it from just one perspective. Brooklyn comes out looking way better because not only do they get young pieces, Marcus Smart is still relatively young. Jaylen Brown is 25 years old. Derek White, I mean, he's a journeyman, but he's a vested vet. And then you look at Boston, KD. That's it. So how is KD gonna mess with Jason Tatum? Tatum already knows how to move with Brown. He knows how to, they know how to work together. They work in tandem. Could it be better? Yes, but that just more off-season work, more chances of them growing together. They're still young.
Yeah.
KD is who KD is. He's not gonna change for anybody. I think the most he's ever changed was in the system of Golden State, and that was only because it worked for him. It was a system that actually it diminished a lot of the flaws in his game and pronunciated a lot of the strengths in his game, and it actually made the flaws in his game that much more better. Like any flaw that he had in his game while he was in Golden State, it made it more pronounced. Like it was more. It wasn't a flaw anymore. It became a strength, because I mean that's the culture that Golden State has. They take your weaknesses and they ultimately turn them into strengths. He's not going to get that anywhere else. Where's KD going to get that? Not going to get that in Boston. You're going to go to Boston and have another ball dominant guy this is ultimately what sank the Celtics in the first place. Both Brown and Tatum being ball dominant. Both of them not knowing when to take over and who to defer to. It's going to be the same thing with KD. It may be worse. It may be worse with KD.
Yeah, because we got to think about it like this too, right? Because like, say if you did get rid of Jaylen Brown, now you have KD and Jason Tatum, and it's like both of these guys are number one options. Now somebody actually has to sit back and become a number two option.
So is Tatum going to be that Seth? Is he going to be that Steph Curry?
And that's exactly what we got to think about, because now he's getting into that role and he's pushing himself toward being that number one option. So now he's learning that he's getting that, and then the team goes ahead and brings somebody else that drops him to number two, because at the end of the day, KD is going to be a number one.
Yeah, he's going to be a number one. He's going to be a number one.
So it's like now it drops him back to number two just out of nowhere, where he was starting to push that envelope for himself to be a number one. Yeah. And now y'all take that back from him. So it's like now that puts a kind of a damper on his situation too. Yep. He might still be happy because it's KD, but it's just like at the end of the day, his role, some people don't like that. You know what I mean? Like you could be happy to have a superstar teammate, but it's just like now my role is diminished. But go ahead.
You're asking a 24-year-old superstar. He's coming to his own. This is his team. Star. You're asking a 24-year-old, I can't say superstar yet, but the 24-year-old budding star, right? To do a Steph Curry and step back. And Steph didn't really need to really step back. I mean, he didn't change much. He just deferred to KD. KD closed it out. That KD was the number one. And Steph understood that in order for them to coexist, for two alpha males to coexist, one of them had to step back. And who stepped back? Curry did. And it worked for them because Curry stepped back. But you're asking a player that's only 24 years old to do that. Whereas Curry is 20, 28, 29 at the time, 30 maybe even. Well, I think turns 34 this year, something like that. So at the end of the day, I mean, he was in his 30s. So he was already in his prime. He already won a ring. He already knew what it took to get there.
Exactly. And that's the one thing I was gonna interject in that as well, is the fact that like Curry was already the man. He already won a title. So it's like, he already led his team to a title. Now Jason Tatum is in that light to lead his team to a title, and then you bring in a guy like KD. So it's now it's at a point where it's like the narrative switches, because now he's not the leader for real. Yeah. He had KD. He didn't grow with his team like having Jaylen Brown with him.
Yep.
Where it's just like, they did this naturally, and Tatum was the leader.
And you know what else bothers me? It's the message that you send to JB, almost like
Yeah,
he's not good enough. If arguably,
yeah.
Jaylen Brown had the better playoffs. When you
Mm-hmm.
look at the playoffs from a whole, he was more consistent. I mean, both of them struggled inconsistencies,
Yeah,
but he was more consistent. He was
yeah.
more consistent.
He was more
Um,
dominant. Let's
he was
say
more dominant.
what it was counting.
He asserted his dominance way more. Like he asserted his
Mm-hmm.
presence. He made you feel like I am here. Jason Tatum. There was times when it was like, is Tatum in the game? Is he
Yeah.
here? Like, it's, where is Tatum? Jaylen Brown was always a factor. I think that, especially in
Mm-hmm.
the series against Golden State, you look at that series, he was the most dangerous player on the Celtics. It
He
wasn't
was.
it wasn't Al, it wasn't Horford, it damn sure wasn't Smart, and it wasn't Tatum.
Mm-hmm.
It was Brown. You had to account for Brown each and every. Who was Draymond Green trying to get under the skin? He was
Brown.
going after
Yeah,
Brown. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
He was going after
Because
Brown.
he just
So
knew Brown was sparking
he
everything.
knew, it. Brown brings a tenacity and an energy that I think everybody feeds. I think the person that feeds off it the most, other than Tatum, is probably Smart, because of his defensive dog mentality. Brown gives that team that identity. Shipping him out, I think that changes the dynamic, and to you're asking KD to change too. You're asking KD to ultimately do something that maybe he hasn't done since maybe Oklahoma. And
Mm-hmm.
that's be not just the number one option, but also get guys into their spots and kind of facilitate in a different way, because Russell didn't become that facilitator until KD left. He didn't
Yeah.
become the triple double king he's become until KD left. So I think I don't I wouldn't have liked the trade, because I think that Brown and Tatum need at least another year together. They need to learn from each other. I think that the finals was a good test for them. Now, okay, let's take this test. Let's go into next year. We know how to get here now. We know what it takes to win against a team like Golden State, because you look at the West, you're not gonna be facing any other teams other than teams like Golden State, even the Suns. Whoever comes out the West, that's the team to beat. The West is they're to beat. You have to beat the West. It's not whoever comes out the East is gonna win. Nah, usually it's whoever comes out the West.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
digress. I feel bad for him. I feel bad. You understand it's a business, but I feel bad for him, man. I feel bad for him, especially like the progression. You-
Yeah.
Look at what he did in the playoffs, and that's the piece that you want to get rid of.
Yeah. And like honestly, let's keep it funky. Arguably between the two, like you were saying with the progression, I think Jaylen Brown has progressed further on
Then
as a
Tatum.
player than Tatum. Because where
I
he
agree.
started and what you've seen him as, like, he's really rough and this, that, and
Yeah.
third, but his scoring just been getting up there. Everything's been getting up there. His tenacity on defense. And it's just like he progressed further on. Like, I still think Tatum, you know what I mean? Offensively, is still the better player
Yeah.
and things like that. But at the end of the day, overall, I like Jaylen Brown better, honestly,
I do
personally.
too. I do too. I think that Jaylen Brown has uh better intangibles than Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Than Jason Tatum. I think Brown has um just things that you can't teach, things that don't show up on a stat sheet, and you need guys like that.
Mhm.
You need guys that are gonna kind of do the dirty work a little bit. And I don't think Tatum has that in him. He certainly doesn't have the dog in him. He doesn't have the Kobe mentality that he thinks he has. I think he has a little bit of it, but I don't. I honestly, I don't think any
I
player
wouldn't
in the
even. I
league
don't even think he
right
has a
now.
Kobe mentality. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. He just have a great scoring ability, but
Mhm.
it's none of it has really turned into like even like when you think about the playoffs. He had a buzzer beater, but the buzzer beater was just some like off of a broken play. He did a
Yeah.
perfect cut and beat the Brooklyn. but
Yeah.
it's not like it's a buzzer beater where it's like, oh my god, he just came off, killed this man, and just hit a, you know what I mean, a great move in his
Or
face. So it got by him and did something good. It was
or the
just a
fact,
full
like,
random
he
play.
didn't have a moment in the playoffs where he completely dominated from
Yeah,
from from quarter one to quarter four. Like, there wasn't a complete game that he dominated. There was stretches, there maybe a quarter or
Mhm.
two, but there wasn't like a complete game that I could clearly
Yeah.
say he
It
done.
was.
There was games where Jalen Brown completely dominated the entire landscape of the game.
Yeah.
You look at game two of of the finals. I mean, they couple shots here or there. The Celtics up 2-0 going to Boston.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at game one
Yeah.
too. Game one was all Jalen Brown. So I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. I don't think that's the piece I'm not to say like any of them should be moved, but I'm me personally, that wouldn't have been the piece that I would have moved. I would have probably kept Jalen Brown actually would have complimented KD a lot more than Jason Tatum would.
Yeah.
So if I'm gonna give a either or for KD, I would give it Tatum. And I honestly I think Tatum would compliment Ben Simmons more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. It's just the skill sets. Both of them, I think KD and Tatum is just redundant.
Yeah. Speaking of Kyrie, there's the front office is telling Kyrie that things need to change in order for him to come back into the clubhouse.
Yeah. Yeah,
Thoughts?
things need to change. Things need to change. They pretty much saying, yo, you're not gonna have your way. You're just not gonna have the same exact
Mm,
leeway, and it's gonna be more structure coming into this year. We gave you your chance, and look how things have been turning out. And we're not gonna have that. You're not gonna be
yeah.
sitting here having a little player like. And don't get me
No
wrong, we
diva
don't
stuff,
mind.
man.
Yeah, none of that stuff. We're not gonna have no second practices after. Like, oh, okay, all right, cool. We did what you had to do. Let's do what we actually gonna do in the game. No,
Right?
what my coach says is what's gonna happen in the game. Like, let's make something happen for real.
Yeah.
Let's have some real unity and things like that. Instead of people being out there being selfish and just doing what they want to do. Like, come on.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think that I honestly if I was Steve Nash, I would start the season with Kyrie on the bench. I would you have to set an example. And how you set an example is by targeting your stars. And that's what I would do. Right or wrong, front office may not like it. But I
Ain't
mean,
nobody gonna like it.
nah, especially Kyrie. But the thing is, it's like you have to set that precedent. And if Kyrie honestly wants to play, then things have to change. And in order for them changes to be made, then it takes the coach. The coach has to have the balls to sit here and say, look, yeah, none of that stuff is rocking. If you're gonna do this, then I'm gonna do this. You don't think this is possible? Watch me. Or you gonna go to the front office and try to get me fired? Cool. Cool. But at least I stood up to the star and the
Yeah.
GMs and the owners. When it comes down to picking a new head coach, I'll be up there because they know that I'm not gonna sit here and take crap from a diva. Because at the end of the
Hmm.
day, that's all Kyrie is. He's a diva.
Yeah.
We talked about it
Exactly.
in the last episode. How many games has he played in a season?
Exactly. He ain't played enough games to even really make an impact. But left him being a seventh seed, and then he fucking antagonized uh Harden,
Harden, yeah,
and Harden left. Harden left.
yeah. So
Like,
you
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 ruining a
you
lot
had
of stuff.
you had all the pieces. Going into the season, everybody had the Nets pegged to go to the finals.
Bro,
Everybody. So there,
everybody, like,
there was
gosh.
there was about 40% of the people that pegged them to go to the finals, expecting them to actually win the finals,
Mm-hmm.
and they get ousted in the first round with a sweep to the
Supposed
eventual
to get one
team
game.
to go to the finals. Yeah, and that to me is just unacceptable. And if you're a star player and you don't take accountability, especially since you had a
Mm-hmm.
key hand in this, then what's the point of having you on the team? That's I truly feel if you're gonna send a message, it has to be to Kyrie and it has to start with benching him. You have to show the rest of the players, any players that's coming into this team, any players that's gonna go anywhere else in the league where Nash ultimately may end up coaching. That look, I'm not playing around. I want to win. I want to win in culture. And if anybody doesn't want to be a part of this, then guess what? You could watch. Win or lose, this is on you.
Yeah, that's a fact. And then there's really nothing you can do with Kyrie because they really looking at, I don't know. It's the only team that's going to deal with that guy is the Lakers.
Yeah, it's the Lakers. And that's only because of LeBron.
That's the only reason because LeBron's like, I'll
LeBron's not going to play that.
I dealt with him, so I know how to, I know how to handle him.
And the craziest thing is, as a Kyrie, I'm curious as to why Kyrie even wants to go to the Lakers after he engineered his way out of Cleveland because that's
because I ain't gonna lie, that's mostly because like he grew up. I understand he ain't like dealing with the media stuff behind LeBron, being called a kid, being like all that bull. So that's that's understandable when you're young. Like, I'm not his son. Yeah. I'm not dealing with this. So that's kind of causes a fraction. Like I can understand that. And like he's grown up now. Like he even, he said it like, yeah, I kind of, did what I did and I messed up what we had.
Yeah.
So he manned up for that. Like I could rock with that. So that, just seeing that man up is like that's one of the other reasons LeBron's like, all right, cool, I see you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he could vouch for him and be like, I know how to deal with him. But that's the only people who want him, who could deal with him.
Yeah, it's the only team. I can't think of any other team.
The only thing you're gonna get out of it is Westbrook. And nobody wants Westbrook because he's not going to fit with the Brooklyn.
KD don't want Westbrook.
That's what I'm saying. KD done left Westbrook, and even if he's fine with being with Westbrook ain't going to fit with Ben Simmons.
Yeah, he's not at all. Westbrook needs the ball in his hand in order to get going, and
exactly. And Ben Simmons needs some shooters around him to get going.
Yeah. So that's a disaster in itself.
Waiting to happen.
Yeah. Speaking of Lakers, specifically ex-Lakers, Carmelo. Where's Carmelo gonna land? I was just on Twitter earlier. I meant to send it to you. He's out here in gyms just working. Like I see him killing, and I'm like, dang, like when is this gonna actually show up on the court? Like I haven't seen Melo kill since he was in a Knicks uniform.
Bro, the game is different. He's not gonna get the opportunities that he get when he's in the off season. He's not gonna get the opportunities he got when he was younger. It's not gonna happen. They pushed him off. He's a role player now who's gonna take the shots that he could get. And he can make some shots. Obviously, he'll still have that clutch gene of who he was to make some of those shots. But it's just like at the end of the day,
he's not that guy no more.
Yeah, you're not that guy anymore. So it's like wherever you go, it's like obviously you're gonna ring hunt. And some of the reports are saying Golden State.
Yeah.
You don't like that. I'm saying no Golden State.
You don't like that. I like it. You don't like it. No, but all right, you tell me why you don't like it, and I'll tell you why I do like it.
I don't think he's even aptitude enough to play enough defense out there. And of course he's gonna stretch the floor. That's what's good about it. And like, he used to have a little hops enough where he do the little swing block on the other side. But it's just like that's not gonna rock. Like you gotta be in your spots. So you gotta force him to be in his spots. And it's like you gotta yell at him. You gotta get him into that. And it's like, I don't know how you're gonna handle that.
I like it. I'm gonna tell you why. He's played with Thompson, he's played with Curry, and he's played with Draymond on the Olympic team. Right? So he has experience playing with them. He's also been coached by Kerr on the Olympic team. Then you take it another step forward. Every player that comes into the Golden State system, it becomes like you have to become part of that culture. Now, I would say give him a 10-day contract. Try him out for the 10 days. See if you could acclimate him into that culture. and see if he could get with the cuts and everything. I don't know if he could move the way he used to, but see if he could still get, one or two cuts a game, you know what I'm saying? Like one or two cuts a game. But what you really need from him is to stretch the floor and to
Yeah.
open it up. And I think that's what he does. And you don't need him out there more than 10 minutes. You have him out there with like Moody and Poole.
Yeah,
Like
that's what I was gonna say. I'm gonna keep it 100. Like the most role he's gonna do is have a Balenciaga role.
yes. And Balenciaga, he's not defensive. You're not out there. I mean, he
But
tried. He tried his best.
the thing about him is he'll give up that effort.
Yeah,
Like
he's a
he'll give
willing
up that
defender.
effort to defend, and
Right.
then he also has some playmaking abilities out there too. Like you don't look at Melo as playmaking. You don't look at him as that. Like
Right. I don't.
so I
I
don't know.
mean,
Like
but look, it's not like Melo can't be a willing passer. He's been a willing passer before. He's been a willing passer on the Knicks. He was a willing passer in Oklahoma. I mean, shoot, he was willing to do all the 6-man stuff in Houston. It just didn't work out. And he had a small role in Portland. Portland just doesn't have a good team.
No.
Their team has always been around Dame and McCollum, and it's dirt after that.
Yeah.
So like I can't fault him for that. What I can fault him for is Los Angeles. I could fault every single that from the GM from the owner, from the GM down to the sock boy, down to the ball boy.
G League team, like
Like you gotta everybody in LA getting blamed, but I put blame on everybody in LA. But what I will say is, if he still has some in the tank, and the Warriors, I mean, they have the mid-level exemption or the veterans minimum. Why not? Why not try it out? I mean, they literally have nothing to lose. Everything to gain, nothing to really lose. Because if it doesn't work out, you cut him. If it does work out, Melo gets a ring. I mean, it's in Golden State's eyes, it's a win-win. Melo's, it might be a win-lose. He might not last the season, but I mean, it's a willing risk, especially at this late stage in the game where this is the only thing that's literally missing from his repertoire or from his cabinet, other than MVP. But I mean, we're not going to talk about how he was robbed from MVP. But
yeah. I'm gonna keep it I'm gonna keep a buck with you after listening to you. Say what you gotta say.
I told you into. I told you.
You might not have talked me into it. I'm still gonna say no. I'm still gonna say no. I think playing defense and being able to cut is what you need in that role. Because at the end of the day, he's gonna be like an Otto Porter. He's got to be like a balance. Like
I wouldn't even say.
But what I'm saying is, like, Al Porter got a few moments.
I wouldn't even put him in the auto
defense.
I wouldn't even put him in the Otto Porter role. I mean, but didn't they just pick up somebody that fits the Otto Porter?
They got Green.
Yeah, Jalen Green, right?
I don't know. It's one of the Greens.
Yeah. So either way,
from Denver. He was in Denver.
Yeah, but he fits that Otto Porter role.
Does, but at the end of the day,
3-and-D role.
At the end of the day, you still gonna need somebody when he get out there to play defense and do this. And I think Melo ain't gonna be.
You just
that
need
guy.
a couple of stretches.
I always talk about defense and shooting. Like, yes, he gonna bring that shooting, but yeah, you need stretches. But I need his mind to be into it. I don't feel like his mind gonna be into that part, bro. And that's like you said. You said like it's the Golden State. It's the Golden State aura. All of that's gonna help with that. So I'm like, I could see it, but I gotta see it to believe it. If they do it, I'm like, hey, and it works, I'm with it. But at the end of the day, I don't see Melo doing, you know what I mean? And like, let's keep it funky. All these Hall of Fame scorers who can't come ring chasing, just like something bad happens when they come. What happened the first time with Cousins came here? He ain't win no damn ring. Every time you talk about ring chasing with these guys, they lose.
I mean, well, the Cousins thing, that was just
That was
they
still
all got injured.
unfortunate though. They got
Yeah, that was
injured.
they all
Yeah.
got the
Yeah,
KD got
yeah, yeah.
injured, Clay, yeah. So I mean they was the favorites to win that year. They should have won. Had they all been healthy,
Still,
they would have swept the Raptors.
like I
Then you've
said,
been
the
looking
Hall of
at Kai.
Famer scored a
Yeah,
curse, bro. I'm telling you, I don't
you
believe it. I don't feel
you
it.
you would have been looking at Kawhi differently. You'd have been like, I don't know. I can't put him up there. I don't know. You would have looked at Kawhi differently. You wouldn't have been MVP. You would have got them to the finals and they would have got smoked.
Yeah, I don't
Healthy,
think they would have won.
yeah, healthy KD, healthy Clay. Nah, they
Shoot,
can.
even just with a healthy Clay, because Clay was doing his thing, and
Yeah, no,
they
yeah.
won
Clay
even
was
with just Clay.
smoking. Clay was smoking. Yeah, that's right. KD. Man, that was
Even
unfortunate.
KD hurt, yeah,
Yeah, that was
they were
unfortunate.
still doing their thing.
Wait, let me ask you. They win that finals. KD leaves.
I mean, probably still.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think so because at the end of the day, KD's still somebody who's looking at the narratives and everything surrounding it. It would have
Yeah.
just it would just been better for him to win and be like, I'm out. I did what I had to do here. I'm out.
Yeah. Kind of like a LeBron situation in Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that uh LeBron doesn't get enough credit. Like he does, but he doesn't. As far as constructing the team together, I mean, in the wake of what he leaves after the construction isn't always pretty. Looking at Cleveland, but I mean, look at Cleveland now.
GM.
Look
Yeah,
at
they got
Cleveland now.
lucky.
Yeah,
They got lucky. They get
I don't think
GM.
LA is gonna get that same favor. I don't think LA is gonna get that same luck.
No, that's why they're not doing certain things out there, making certain trades. Because it's like, yo, LeBron, you leaving soon, right?
Yeah, like you
What we
had the
gonna
MVP.
get? What we gonna get? Bronny Jr. We don't want him either.
Yeah, that
Like,
and then it's like Bron is only. I think Bron is only gonna play for the next 2 years. Realistically, when you look at it, I think he wants to pass. He wants to pass Kareem, which is realistic. He could do that this year. And then he wants to be the all-time leader in every single category in the playoffs, which is also realistic within the next 2 years, with maybe possibly this year as well. So when you look at it from that aspect, I mean, I don't think what more does he have to really do in this league other than get a ring, which I don't think is going to happen in LA.
mm-hmm.
So I think, give LeBron maybe 1 or 2 years left. Maybe. I don't know. He could be Tom Brady. He could play for another 10 years. We don't know.
Sure. I don't know at this level, man. My man's still averaging 30 out there.
30 on a garbage team with no AD.
30
I mean,
after 30. God damn.
I'd average 30 too. No AD, nobody else. Yo, who else is shooting the ball? Who else is shooting the ball in LA?
That's LeBron. I don't give a damn. LeBron with them healthy, he'll still be up there.
I don't know. I think a healthy AD, I don't think he would have been averaging 30.
What you mean a healthy AD? He still gotta get buckets because what is AD gonna do?
Get injured.
What AD gonna do?
Get injured.
Yeah, damn. He gotta add his little 20. They probably would have won a few more points, but he still would have went off for 30.
Honestly, that's really what they're missing. They're missing a point guard. Yeah, they're the ones that should have picked up John Wall.
Yeah, but
they're the ones that should have picked up John Wall.
Looked at their situation and said, "Nah, I'm good."
I mean, I would have too. I think that constructed, the Clippers have a better roster.
They do.
So I mean, when you look at it from and especially with Kawhi coming back, Kawhi had a whole year off. That means he's a whole year fresher. His legs are gonna be under him.
Once he get new programming in, it's over.
Yeah. As soon as he got a couple of screws put back in place, he he's back. He's back to Terminator. He's all right.
It's over.
Speaking of the Clippers, see PG playing in the Drew League for the first time since 2014. Last time he played in the Drew League, the Pacers went on to the conference finals. That's the year that they lost to the Heat, to the eventual champions. How do you feel about that? Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Is this a sign of good omens?
I ain't gonna lie. I think playing in the Drew League is good for anybody. You feel me? Except for John Collins. Um
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
except for him.
Get John Collins
But
out of
yeah,
here.
I think it's always good for them. These players get to keep themselves warm, actually get some play. It's not
Yeah.
obviously game speed. It's not obviously the
Yeah,
NBA
it's not the
speed, but
NBA.
it's still some speed. You're playing against guys who, when they see you on the other end of the floor, they're coming with their best. Their best
Yeah.
still might be a I couldn't even think of a player's name, but might be a low
Like a
tier
G
player in
League
the
level
league.
player, yeah, you know.
Yeah, but it's like
But
they coming with
yeah, but they
intensity and they
yeah,
trying to beat you. You know
yeah,
what
they
I
try they
mean?
yeah. I mean, it's like, like not to put that into comparison, but it's like kind of like playing ball against your dad, growing up. Like
Yeah.
he better than you at this point, but
Uh-huh.
you want to beat him. And
Yeah.
it's just as an NBA player, you're just never gonna be better than an NBA player.
And
This
then
is what
there's a
they do.
chance to, yeah. And for those players, it's a chance for them to work on some things live
Yep.
in action. You seen that little move that LeBron did? I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. If
Yeah.
he do that, he gonna do that in games too this year.
Yeah.
You just know it's gonna happen. That's gonna be like him looking at the ball, but this is for his age 38 or something. I think he's like 38. This is
Yeah.
his age
He's up there.
38 move.
I
So,
like it. I think that when they do when they do the off season, tournaments and running around with guys that you would never see on TV, but they're on TV because because LeBron's there.
yeah.
I think it's good. I think it's good for the players, obviously, because they get to see where they're at talent wise. They get to see
Mhm.
exactly, all right, well, I'm not good enough to beat LeBron, but I'm good enough to stay in front of him and guard him for a couple of series. That means that I could beat you. I could probably beat you, and I could probably beat you too. Like, it's good for them, but it's also good for the players because one, it keeps them fresh. It keeps them in basketball mode. It keeps their bodies, um, you know, I mean, you don't have the wear and tear that you would have in the season, obviously, because it's just the summer. But um, you get the season like moments sprinkled in the summer because you go into these tournaments and you get to bang bodies. You get to you get to play. Ultimately, I think it's terrific, and I think more players should play. I think that if the NBA wants to go the route of having in uh league in season tournament, what they should do is they should do a poll, see what players actually want to play during the summer, and have 2 weeks, just like what they do with the summer league with the teams. But instead of just like having rookies and stuff like that, you have actual play. Like you'll have maybe LeBron come for like a week, and they'll play.
Yeah, them
They'll
players
play
ain't
like,
doing that.
I mean, but why not? You play 3 games,
What do you
and
mean?
you can even invite
Everybody
celebrities
complaining
into it
about the
that are
amount of
nice.
games that's there that they're playing. They're
I mean, but if
complaining
you're worried
already
about
about the minute
injury,
games.
and you're worried about that aspect, I mean,
They
you're
don't even
risking
want to play
yourself
in the
in
All Star
a
games.
I mean, but look, I mean, you these players are worried about uh conditioning their bodies and stuff, but you're out here running during the summer, so why not? It's 3 games.
But you got time to have some time off.
Yeah, I mean, you
It's
can
the
still have
summertime,
time off. You have a game a week,
Nah, I don't want
three
no. I
games,
don't
three
want no.
weeks.
Look. These are voluntary games that they're playing. And I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna play a
Yeah,
game or two.
and
Cool.
this would still be voluntary. This would still be voluntary. Whoever wants to
Nah,
play,
just let the Drew have a thing,
all right, all right.
and let's
I'm I'm
not
I'm trying to give
monetize.
other suggestions because I don't like the in season tournament. I really don't, and I think I really hope
Hey,
that they
look,
scrap it.
yeah, no, I know what you mean. But at the end of the day, like off seasons, like come on, I don't think that's gonna fly either. Like at least in season, it's like, all right, cool, we're here already.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? You go to your job and they be like, well, we're having a meeting at 12. You be like, well, I'm here already and I don't leave until 5. I'll come to the meeting. But if the job says, yo, we got an after work meeting,
Mhm.
that is voluntary. You could come, you know what I mean? You be like, what's gonna be there? Is it gonna be some drinks? Maybe I'll go. But you know, you don't want to go after work because you've been at
Yeah,
work all
yeah.
day.
Now, okay, I understand it from that aspect. That makes sense. I think that if they're gonna do an in season tournament, I think that it should be like, all right, so you should do like 62 regular season games, right? Then at the end of the 62 games, the top 4 seeds from each conference sit out. They wait like 2 weeks for the next the rest of the teams to go through this whole bracket, kind of like a NCAA tournament bracket, and then you get down to the finals. So whoever gets to the final 8, now you're playing for seeding.
I don't know. I ain't worked that out in my mind as you was talking about it.
I mean, I just
You
I just think that
know,
there's different ways, because I get why they want to do
but it's
this
just
in
like at the
season
end of the
tournament,
day,
but it's dumb to me.
you don't want to cut off some people's game. Like, you know what I mean? Like I said, the
Yep.
stat thing, like there's still the stat thing that you gotta worry about. Cause at the
Yeah.
end of the day, it's gonna like I understand that 82 games have been so much in the league for so long that it's like you got to think about it. Imagine only having to play 62 games and then the next 20 games that you were supposed to be playing in aren't counted. Like, who's ever going to catch up to John Stockton?
I mean, that's true. That's true.
Who's ever going to do all of that? Like, it's tough. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's
Like, and
true.
that's why I look at it based on stats too. I'm like, yo, these guys will never catch up to them. So it's gonna, you know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
tough as is now.
They're not gonna necessarily want all of that. And I mean, and I don't blame them. I wouldn't either. You're asking guys to give up not just stats, but valuable playing time that can ultimately land them a bigger contract.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, you think about it, like in a 62 game sample out of 82 games, that's a big difference. That's 20 games that you could either be pulling up your averages,
Yeah.
or having statement games during those 20 games that may not even count, because you're only going to count what regular season stats, right? So
Exactly.
what is this in season
Because they
tournament
don't
stats gonna
they,
gonna
they don't count playing stats.
right? Yeah, so if playing stats are not counted, uh, you think that in season stats are going to be counted? And I think that's something that they need to go into the CBA with a clear mind, thinking like, what is this? How does this benefit us? How is this benefit? It may benefit the league because, yeah, money, revenue. Okay. How's that benefiting the players as far as stats, as far as contracts, especially as far as money? Because now you gotta look at contracts differently now. I'm
Mm-hmm.
paying LeBron James 40 million a year. That 40 million is spread out over 82 games, right? So if that's the case, then guys are gonna eventually they're gonna start paying them less. Oh, I only got to pay you for 70 games
Yeah.
because the in season tournament, like, is technically not it's not stat related. I can't measure what you're doing. I can only do it by the eye test because these stats are not going to be recorded. It's not
Yeah.
like playoff stats,
Like,
so
I'm
it's
listening.
tough.
Yeah, it's
It's
all a
tough.
tough slope because you got your pros and your cons for all of it. Because at the end of the day, you do want to get the NBA ratings up because the higher the ratings are, the more pay these guys get. And then you
Right.
got to think about the team aspect where it's like, all right, these guys aren't playing as much games.
Mhm.
So should we pay them that much? But you go, it's a lot that they really got to sit down and think of. So that's what they got the big brains in there for,
Yeah, facts.
you
And
know.
they're gonna have to go into the CBA with a clear mind
Because
because I mean
sometimes
that's
they thinking of what they think there's somebody in the room thinking the same thing we're thinking.
yeah,
So
like, this is dumb.
yeah,
Like, what is this? This is
yeah.
dumb.
Some people who don't
This
like
is
the
dumb.
playing, some people who do.
I mean, I like the playing. I think that the playing was a
I mean, not
brilliant
the
idea.
playing. I meant
But the
the
in season
in
tournament, yeah, I
season.
get you.
That's what
I
I
get you.
meant.
I mean,
So
when you look at the NFL added added a game. They took a game out the preseason, and I think, going forward, that's probably going to work better for a lot of players, especially when it comes to contracts, because it's one more game that I could go out and put up yards.
mhm.
Regardless of what position I play. You know, I can go out there one more game and prove that, I deserve a contract coming up. The only, sucky part about the NFL and what's good about the NBA is that majority of contracts are guaranteed. I think the only time a contract is not guaranteed in the NBA is if there's an option connected to it.
Yeah.
So you look at it, if a guy
Like
is supposed to get 200 mil,
like Zion.
like, oh well, yeah, well that's if there's clauses in the contract. Yeah, Zion has I forgot all about the Zion contract. So Zion's contract, where it was like 294, right? 294 mil, if I'm not
I don't
mistaken.
know, something big, but I
It
know
was
he got a
big, but
contract where he
is
got
a
to stay.
clause.
I
He has
think the
to.
294 was his body fat. The number you're
You
thinking
might be
of.
right. You might be right. You might be right. I'm not sure exactly the numbers, but yeah, I think 294 is
I think that's the
yeah, his
body
weight and his
fat
body
number you're
fat. Yeah,
thinking of.
so he
Yeah.
has to be below 290. And I think
They get the
honestly,
whole
that's
money.
they gave him way too much room. Honestly, I would have been like 280. I need you at 280. I need you at 275. Like,
Oh my
you gave him.
God. You
You
trying
gave
to
him.
put somebody in a coma.
But
You
the
know how
thing
much work
is, bro, he shouldn't be weighing that much in the first. He shouldn't
But
be
the
like.
thing about it, it's tough because it's like
Look, when he got to
we say that, but the injury that he had was on his foot. So it's like you can't do any cardio, and where it was placed on his foot, you really can't do any cardio.
I mean, you can. Yes, you can.
Talk to
Water
me.
aerobics.
Bro, do you know his foot injury was?
What was it? A plantar fiscus?
No, not no plantar fasciitis.
What was it?
I don't know, but I don't know the name. I ain't gonna lie, but I watched the video on it. Like, the doctor video
Yeah.
who always talk about the thing on YouTube. And it
Yeah.
was just like in a spot. It was like a rare one, but it was in a spot where it's like he
It was like
can't
a
really do
metacarpal,
any,
a metacarpal bone.
yeah, he really couldn't do any much cardio.
Okay, I mean,
Like, so it was just like,
he could do cardio now. I need him down to
yeah.
280.
But
I need
we've
him down
been
to
seeing
280.
how he been working. Every picture looked crazy.
I mean, yeah, like as far as athleticism, but he's always had that athleticism.
Yeah,
I'm
but I'm talking
actually
about the
surprised that
pictures
he
and
could
stuff.
have
It
that
wasn't like
much
he's doing
hops
now.
the way that he could,
Because he got
I mean,
natural hops. He got
nah,
natural
he
hops
does.
and natural fat. Like, those are the two things that he got naturally.
naturally. I need him down to like two. When he came into the league, he was like 280, 290. I need him down. I need him at like 280. Like realistically, I think that if he
Shit, I need
needs,
him a little lower than that. I ain't gonna
I mean,
hold you.
I need him lower
Because you
than
gotta
that too.
understand,
But
you talk about that weight is like how much LeBron weigh, and LeBron is like 3-4 inches taller than him.
no, and I agree. But I'm saying from an aspect of right now. I mean, he's probably at like
Nah, I know what you mean.
305 or something like that right now. They're just trying to get him down in order for him to actually, have incentive in keeping his weight. But the thing is, I would have made it like 285. Like that would the lowest I would have went, like 285. But
Yeah,
but
but the body
realistically, I
fat
need you
thing,
at like 280,
thing,
275.
though, the body fat thing isn't about weight. Like, is a body fat meter? Like,
Not, but from what I saw, it wasn't just the body fat. It was also the weight. It was weight and body fat. I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
I just saw body fat. He got to keep his body fat under like 2 points.
I could be wrong.
0.2 something.
Okay, so I just pulled it up. So the extension is worth 193 million over 5 years and could increase to as much as 231 with incentives in the weight clause. So he will have periodical weigh-ins, and his combined weight and body fat percentage must be below 295. So that makes sense. So he could be at 280, but the body fat, he could have like what, like a 6-7% body fat that will pull him up to like 294. So that makes sense. That makes sense. So right now they're saying that he's listed at 284, which is not bad. I still need him lower. I need him lower. I need him. Yeah, I need him around 270.
Facts.
Yeah, I need him around 270. Well, you said LeBron, but 240, 245? He's around there, right?
Exactly. He's like 250, 260.
Yeah, but LeBron.
But LeBron is like 6'9".
Yeah, LeBron is like 6'9". I mean,
what? Zion is 6'6".
Yeah. Yeah.
Like James Harden's fat suit wasn't even that much. Like, come on.
Nah, I'm weak.
James is 6'5".
I'm weak.
Come on, bro.
I'm weak, nah, man. I need James Harden to get back to work too, man. Oh man. All right, we gonna end this. We gonna end this on a good note. All right, so uh you'll never believe what Dwight Howard is doing. I just want you to take a wild guess.
What do you mean? What he's done
Just
Dancing with the Stars?
nah. He's not doing that.
What is he doing? He overseas?
Nope. He's right here in the States.
What is he doing? I don't know, bro.
Uh,
You know, I ain't
he's
following him.
trying out for the WWE. My boy trying to become the next Rock.
Oh my god.
Ooh, Superman is coming to an arena near you. This SummerSlam.
He said, my name is Shaq, and I don't condone Dwight being called Superman.
Right. So Dwight pulled up to WWE tryouts with his own promo vids, and he's trying to become the next WWE superstar.
God's a goofball. I think you too. Nah, it's not gonna work.
Oh man, I don't know, man. If it could work for Ronda Rousey, might be able to work.
But
for
she
him.
was already a fighter.
I mean, yeah, but
she was a fighter, and then she has more of a moniker of being a fighter.
Okay, yeah. Right.
Dwight has the moniker of being soft in the league. Now you're gonna come to the WWE, and you're gonna be the band. And then when I see you 6'11" get slammed by somebody small, bro, like what am get out my face.
Yeah, if Rey Mysterio do some Rey Mysterio stuff to you, bro, like I can't take you serious. I just can't do it. You can't do it. 6'11", I want to be the next Rock. If you don't go sit down underneath a rock. Oh man, that's our show, man. Yo, check us out.
Oh, y'all already know the vibes, man. Like, share, sub, and all the above, and make sure y'all tune into the